Today we are answering some recently asked viewer questions all about moving to, relocating to, living in, buying a house in Salem, Oregon, and really anywhere in the surrounding areas. If you are someone who is thinking about moving to our area or buying a house here, you're definitely going to want to listen in until the very end. And before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah.
And I'm Spencer.
We are a top producing husband and wife real estate team here in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. And we get calls, texts, and emails from people like you who are thinking about moving to our area all the time. We work with many out-of-state relocation clients. We totally love it. So if that's you, feel free to reach out. We'd love to work with you too. Let's get a Zoom consultation. I lost my words for a second there. A Zoom appointment or just a phone call, whatever you prefer, set up and talk about the next steps. So I will put our contact information below.
And just like on today's show, all of these questions have come in from viewer audiences just like yourselves. So if you're listening in your car, viewing this on your big screen, it doesn't matter. Feel free to leave a comment or directly message us to our emails.
Yes.
You should find that in the website description below. And we are happy to bring it up on the show, on this podcast, and get your answers to the question.
Absolutely. It is a big way we find out what we're going to talk about because we want to talk about things that you guys, our audience, are wanting to know about the area. So many of our clients, I always say this, but so many of them move to our area without ever coming here first. They buy the house. We do everything virtually oftentimes, and they close on the home and don't come here until after they close. They've never seen Oregon oftentimes. So we really want to paint the best picture and do the best job at that for you as possible. But what I'm trying to say is if there's a certain area that you want us to break down, specific like video topic you just want us to cover about the area, let us know and we will definitely get to it for you. The first question is, I'm having a hard time finding a home that is affordable in your area. What about buying land? Any size, anything, even the smallest lot. How is the land buying process different from buying a regular house? So I feel like there was a couple questions in that one question, but land in our area. Ooh.
Real estate, expensive, Oregon.
That's
what I heard.
Here's the thing with land is where we're at. Okay, everywhere, not just where we're at, but I talk to real estate agents from all over. Also, by the way, if you are someone who is thinking about buying or selling real estate not in Oregon, let us know, and we would love to help find you a really great realtor wherever you're at specifically. But I talk to real estate agents all over, and one thing I always hear is that everywhere is extremely low on inventory right now. Like we're talking record low. So that means there's just not enough homes on the market. And that also means we have like extremely few lots on the market. So I'm not saying that to discourage you from buying a lot or to say it's not possible, because it is possible. However, obviously that's driven prices up a lot. And so it's hard to find a desirable lot that's ready to go in a good location.
Well,
that's not extremely expensive.
Interest rates are up too. That's something we all have to consider because you can only afford what your interest rate will be, whether it's the bare piece of land or the brand new home that you're going to be building on this bare piece of land. Maybe you own an RV and you're planning to live on the RV trailer while the home's being built too. So there's all types of variables, but ultimately it comes down to money. When purchasing land, generally you're going to want and need 20% down. And here in Oregon specifically, I don't consider our soil cheap at all. There are some locations though where we can find a good piece of land that's usable at a lower price. But keep in mind, it's not going to be in town. It's not going to be even 10, 20 minutes from town. It's going to be more about 30 plus minutes from town, more in the mountainous terrain, but beautiful area surrounded by nature. And it has everything Oregon has to offer. That doesn't fit the bill for every person, though. So that's where it's you and I to have a conversation and see what best fits you. I've had lots of out-of-state clients wanting bare piece of land to transition their ranch or their farm to, especially in the Eugene-Roseburg area. That's been pretty fun. So that property search is still up and active.
Right.
But the one thing I do want to share with you is soil is not cheap. I mean, for instance, here in our area, the Mid-Willamette Valley, Salem area, 30 minutes in proximity, there was a 2-acre lot. 0 well, 0 septic, 0 electric. Guess how much that just sold for?
How much?
$300,000.
How big was it?
2 acres.
2 acres. Wow.
But I mean, it's tough. 2 acres. And
where was it located?
Nothing is set up on it. This is just dirt.
Where at?
And this is in Turner, Oregon.
Turner, Oregon. Was it a good
about
location?
About 15 minutes. Oh, yeah. View lot.
View lot. Okay.
But generally, what I was seeing, I mean, especially a year and a half ago, when more buildable pieces of land that were septic ready, well, and electric was brought in, those were going for about, a quarter acre lot for $250 to $285, I would say. Which $250,000, $285,000. Right. That is without building the structure.
Here's what I have to say about that. So yes, that's all. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really helpful to kind of give a picture of like what to expect.
We can find something cheaper though. Want to let you know.
Yeah, we can find something cheaper if you're willing to be flexible on location, area, maybe further out. However, this question, the person that asked this question was saying they're wanting to look into land because they're having a hard time finding something that's affordable. I don't think that land in our area, at least, is the best option right now if you're looking for affordable. If you want to find land and you are not on an extremely cheap, small budget, then we could find something for sure. But if you're looking for the most affordable option, then I think we would have a conversation about something else. I do not think that land is going to be an affordable option for you right now.
At the end of the day, I don't know your background. There are variables. Maybe you're a builder yourself. I mean, me personally, I'm not investing in soil first. I'm going to invest in a residential home that fits my family needs and making that happen first.
Yeah, the people I have been seeing building around here lately, a lot of them it seems like it's almost always like this piece of property's been in the family for like 20 years and we've been sitting on it, or we've owned it for 10 years and we just haven't done anything with it. It's very rare that we're seeing people just buying it right now. But okay, moving on. Next question is, I am thinking about moving to Salem from Texas. Welcome. Wondering what the best areas for families are based on schools and activities for families with children. We love the outdoors. That is one of the main reasons we're moving there.
And this is Salem.
Salem.
She was wanting to move from Texas to Salem.
Yep.
Well, what's really cool about Salem is I feel like we are all connected. If you live in Salem, whether it's Northeast, Kaiser, South, Southeast, West Salem, there's about a 10, 15-minute route to get you from one side of town to the other. That's the bonus. So when we talk about nature, having what Oregon has to offer, I don't think you're going to be missing out on those type of excursions or events. I mean, you can still go to Silver Falls. You can still hit the coast. You can still hike up at the mountains. You can go view waterfalls. Or just go to the Portland in the city and go somewhere else. But when it comes to like city outdoor activities that the city has to offer, what do you think would be the best side of town for this specific client? Okay,
so as far as having, best side of town for families with children, most of our clients who have families, unless they're, most of the time they're wanting to live in either South Salem or West Salem. Reason being is that they're known for having the top rated schools, the more, family desirable neighborhoods. North Salem, there's not a lot of great parks and like playgrounds, I would say. Right. North Salem area, there are quite a few. That's where I would say more probably than other sides of town. There's more there are things to do for kids. Like there's an indoor trampoline park. There's multiple giant indoor playgrounds for kids to go to that are indoors. There's a handful of things like that over on the north side of Salem. But you don't have to live over there to enjoy those things. They're not a far drive. I mean, it's not like Salem's huge. You're going to be still a pretty decent drive there if you live in south or west or, different sides of town. As far as free things to do, like outdoor parks, playgrounds, that type of thing, I would say South Salem has the best and the most amounts of playgrounds and amounts of neighborhoods. A lot of the neighborhoods in South Salem have a playground within walking distance to you, or a park within walking distance, even if it's just like a small neighborhood park kind of thing. Just clean, nice.
And we can't really talk about this topic without mentioning the school districts, I would say Southeast Salem school districts by far are going to rank higher if you were to look online, and that's going to benefit you guys, you in the future, and ultimately set you up with more activities around you. So you can always look up Facebook events, and there's usually going to be something going on, and then plugging in your children to get them connected with whether it's sports, drama, arts, those type of activities. They're always going to be around, and Southeast Salem generally has the best places to do that, I would say.
Yeah, that's where we're seeing most of our families moving to. Okay, next question. But with that being said, like you should always say, I do think that you could thrive on any side of town. Yeah. I don't think there's necessarily any side of town that I'm like, do not move there if you have kids. I think that there's pros and cons to any side of town, and you really have to do what works best for you. And you can always check out the school and crime ratings in each side of town as well. Yeah. Okay. The next question is relocating to Oregon. I'm going to be in town and would like to view houses. I am not pre-qualified, and I actually won't be ready to buy for another 6 months or so, but I just want to see what's out there while I'm in town.
This is one of those questions I sometimes say, should I spend my time if you're not willing to get pre-qualified, or should I give you an Oregon tour because I love Oregon? So
here's the deal. So first off, I love showing homes to my clients when they come into town, even if, they're not, a lot of times they're ready to go if they're looking at houses, but sometimes it's a situation where it's like, we don't have to buy yet, but if we see the right home, we will make an offer. That's usually the situation if it's closer to this. But the thing is that you really have to consider when looking at houses is, when arranging these showings, the sellers have to get their whole family, their kids, their dog out of the house. It's not always so easy for them. And most of the time sellers will actually say on the listing, we do not allow showings unless you have your pre-qualification letter, because otherwise it's really just wasting their time. I know it's fun to look at houses, but those houses that we're looking at, they're not going to be on the market anymore if you're not ready for another 6 months from now. So that's the biggest thing I would say, is really just respecting the sellers. I think we don't always see it in that way. Sometimes there's vacant houses and things work out, but generally that's going to be the
and that's why
situation.
I brought up, like, am I a tour guide or am I a realtor? And it's not that I'm only willing to work with you to get paid a commission at the end of the sale. It's more about that respect factor and that boundary
for the sellers,
for the client.
Yes.
And I mean, here's the deal. Get pre-approved. It's free. It's absolutely free to you. It's not going to hurt your credit unless you're doing it like 7 times in a week. And ultimately, that's going to get eliminated in a month's time. So don't worry about this. We have a qualified lender we would love to refer you to. He does not give us any type of money, any type of proceeds for any closing or sale. This is something that's a free resource for you guys, our clients, because there are so many positive testimonials, me personally, through successful transactions working with this selected lender. And he can get you pre-qualified within 24 business hours. That is so easy, and it's all digital and electronic if you are willing to submit the right documentation.
Right. Here's the thing. When scheduling a showing, if we told the sellers that, or the listing agent that the client is not ready to go, or whatever, they're 6 months out, they are going to not allow the showing, to be honest. So the only way to do it would be to lie to them about that, which I don't think is ever, the correct thing to do. So that answers that question there. Another question I actually get asked a lot is, can you give us the driving tour while we're in town? And okay, I absolutely love meeting my clients in person for the first time when they're moving here. To me, that is like so exciting. I love hearing about your move, and I love spending time with my clients while they're in town. The biggest thing though is our company actually doesn't allow anymore because of liability reasons. I know this was kind of a thing, I don't know, back in the day, but things have changed a lot in real estate, and there's just been a lot of crazy things that have happened to realtors. And so for liability reasons, we unfortunately are just not allowed to put our clients in our car and drive them around. But because I get this question a lot and I still do want to help, I really do. I have created a little, it's nothing, too crazy or too special, but it's a very simple, like laid back driving tour that kind of just tells you, here's this address, start here, and here's how you can drive all the way through this side of town. You can see all of South Salem, and then start here. You can view, this end to the other to view North Salem. So it kind of just guides you to seeing the different sides of town. On top of that, I can also send you a list. Oh, got to take a breath. I'm mouthful here. I can also send you a list of businesses, restaurants, places to check out. Some are kid friendly if you have kids, some aren't, bars, whatever, it is you're into. I just have a whole list of places that you might want to check out in the area while you're in town. So those are two things I would love to send you. And again, if you are in the area and you want to look at houses and you are pre-qualified, so the seller will let us in, we would be so thrilled to show you houses. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. I had this scenario happen where it was a out-of-state client. Maybe you guys are out-of-state viewing this video, and no other realtor was answering their phone or texting them back, and they were actually coming here to Oregon that same weekend. So they messaged me on a Thursday. They had a list of about 13 homes they really wanted to see because they have a time frame and a deadline. They have to have a home purchased by. And guess what? I answered my phone. They found us online. They Googled Salem, Oregon Realtors. They found our YouTube channel, messaged me. I messaged them back. We came up with a showing route. And then the next week, we were under contract with the property that's actually closing within this next week now time. So it's one of those things where we are always happy to help you, whether it's, kind of spur of the moment thing. We want to make sure you're pre-qualified and pre-approved before I'm showing you 13 houses, obviously. Yeah. But it's all within the conversation. So feel free to reach out. We are always willing and happy to take on new clients like yourselves, whether it's a year from now or literally this weekend. Yeah. Get on the phone, text me, email me, and we can make something happen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this last question is, how many homes can I see at once when house hunting? So this question, what we kind of always say or go back to is, if you're looking at more than 5 homes at once, you are probably going to start getting the houses like mixed up. You're probably not going to, how do I say this, even remember like which one's which. It really makes it hard to really continue looking for buyers after that, is what we've seen. But there isn't this, there's not a set number. We don't have rules around this. We will be flexible and do what works best for you. I know if you're in town and you need to see more houses than that, and you're like, I'm here for this one day and all these homes are legitimate contenders.
And I'll write an offer on most of them. I just want to find the correct one.
Right. Then we will do what we have to do. It makes it also, another thing is we consider is when scheduling the showings, it makes it very difficult when there's more than 5, because you have to keep in mind, like we said earlier, there's also home sellers that you have to respect their time and everything. And it can be very difficult to know. We can do our best to estimate how long each showing will take, drive time in between and all of that. But if you're showing 10 different houses from start to finish, it's almost impossible to know the very specific time we're going to be at the last one. And that can be difficult for sellers. Sometimes they just will say no. So that's really the biggest reason why we kind of 5 is kind of the number, like the max.
My max is 5. I used to show, 6, 7, 8 at max. And my past experiences really showed me this same exact thing Mariah was saying, was people get confused and they forget what house was which. And obviously I'm bringing print-offs to every showing for this reason. So you guys can keep in your minds, okay, this one is the sales price, this is the exterior look. But when you get to that many showings, you really do forget like the little details. And when writing an offer, there are some details you're going to want to remember. And, the first initial showing that you and I both do as our working relationship, generally we're not talking about writing an offer most of the time. It's usually on the second, third set of showings that we get paperwork started, whether it was that first day or third day of showings. Yeah. So 5 really is my max, and it just works better for you guys that way.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so that was it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, if you are thinking about relocating to Oregon, send us an email. We cover a very pretty good range, I would say. Not only Salem, but so many different surrounding areas, and we would absolutely love to work with you. Also, head over to our channel. We have a handful of playlists where you can get all of the information that you need about moving to, relocating to, living in our area, and just real estate in our area in general. And we'll see you next week.